Hello guys, welcome to this new lecture. Now we are going to build a budget sheet. This is going to be a very simple form of budget sheet initially. Later on, based on our requirement and whether we want it to update it or not, we're going to proceed. But initially it is going to be as simple as anything can be. So let's proceed with our idea of building our budget sheet. The very first thing is budget sheet is nothing but a record of transactions. So either it is an income or an outcome, it entirely depends on the transactions. So we need to have an area where we can store our transactions. The second thing is a budget sheet will give you an idea of what you have done in a time period. For example, in the last 30 days, what is your income and where you have spent it. Based on the data, you can take some insights and you can then proceed to make some changes to your spending or to your income. So this is pretty much, budget sheet won't provide too many things. It provides a basic overview of your financial transactions. That's it. Most people try to overcomplicate a budget sheet, but it is nothing more than that. Based on the information, later on you will be able to discern it and make some changes to the way you are spending money. That's it. Budget sheet is simple. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to take a table database. And this is a new database. And I'm going to give it as all transactions. Because we need an area where every transaction is stored. Doesn't matter where it is, when it is. So the first thing is, so whether it is an income or an expense, there has to be some kind of, if it is an income, there must be a source. If it is an expense, it has to be an item. So totally there is a title for something. So we're going to give it as a title. The excellent property which Notion provides us with is, if we want any other additional details apart from what we are seeing here, we can include them inside a page. So that is a great feature Notion provides us. So let's go ahead and continue with building our budget sheet. So the next thing is, we need to determine whether it is an income type transaction or an expense. So let's edit the property and type. We're gonna select, let's add option income and expense. I want to change their color. Expense will be red and this will be green. Yeah. So now we do have an expense and let's give some records. Paycheck will be an income. House rent will be an expense. So we do have two transactions, but we do need more details, right? How much did we get for paycheck and how much did we pay? So we need an amount. So let me say I got $4,700 as income and my house rent is about, let's say, $750. That's quite expensive, but it is. So let's say that it. But when did we get this paycheck and when did we pay it? So the type here would be date. And this is quite enough for me. So I got the paycheck on the last date of the previous month. And I paid rent on the 5th on this month. Yeah, now we are getting somewhere. If you don't like this format, we can also edit the property into full date. Now you can see I got it on May 31st. I spent it on June 5th, right? So now with that squared away, let me just rename this property. This will be amount, and this will be date, transaction date. Yeah. And what else do we need? So let me just give you some other types of expenses. Like house rent is one type of expense. What if I have groceries? And this is another expense which might need about $200. I bought it right the next day after paying rent. And then what else do I have? Gym membership, that is another expense, $50. Paid it after getting groceries. And I pay my tithe. I'm gonna consider it as an expense. So out of $4,700, it will be $470. I paid it right after I got my salary. So one thing is, so we need a sort because these are not sorted. Sort by transaction date. That's it. All right. So now you have the confidence that even though these are based on just dumping out of your brain, you can still sort them out. And the next is I invested some things. Stock investing, I'm going to take it as an expense here. I invested about $500 and I did this on June 10th. So there is a pattern we are following because we know some things are going to happen. So budget sheet, like I have said, is just a list of transactions which will give us an overview of what we have done and what we have achieved. But also there is one thing, instead of being a victim of your habits and victim of your just free flow, you can actually be the architect of it. So instead of just entering the transactions, you can decide what transactions could or should be there, which means instead of letting the decisions come as they go, you can make some decisions right now which will help your future self to have less pain. Which means, what if there is another expense like spending unnecessary utilities or buying something that you don't need, that you don't have use of, but you just bought it because because you had money left out in your bank? That is not a good idea, is it? So what do? If you allocate your money for something, then you will have something to do. So we have to operate our transactions based on some principles. So let's do that. Very first thing is we need to add principles. I'm gonna give it a page. Money principles. I want to add a new icon here. So let me just see what account would be right for us. I think this looks incredible. I'm gonna copy this image link. I'm going to Notion. Go here, click link. I'm gonna paste it, click submit, and now we must have it. Yeah, look at that. That is nice. So the very first thing is I want a numbered list. The very first thing is we need to pay our tithe. This is entirely done by me. If you are someone who wants to do something based on your own lifestyle, you could do that. 10% church or to God, whatever it may be, pay our tithe 10%. And then pay yourself first, whatever it may be. Maybe it is storing it in your bank account, whatever it may be. Now you must do it 10%. So now you are left with 20%, 80%. Next is invest about 20%. Now you have left with 60% of things. Now take care of expenses with, I would say, 50%. Now you're still left with 10%. What do we do? So the rest of the 10% it will be for emergency because you never know what is going to happen to you. All right, so that will be the emergency account. So these are our principles and you're going to stand by it. So simply saying these are going to be the categories of expenses. And simply saying your expenses might have multiple categories like uh, simply to say it might involve like needs, fun, like something like that, or simply saying some will be for house like rent and groceries, comma what else, house repair if needed, and other things. Here it will be for personal items, and here it will be for any other things that are going to bother you. For example, if you have some other things going on like fun, if you have sports or parties, if you allocate the money right now, you will in the future you will be able to have a much more clear way to make decisions rather than having an anxiety. Yeah, so in this way you can categorize things. So let's go ahead and do that. So right now I'm going to remove this. Yeah, so let's go back to budget sheet. So now we have our money principles laid out, and so now we're going to have a category, and this will be select. So the options are number one. Number two will be pay yourself first, and then it will be what? Investment, and then it will be says expenses like house, and then fun, and then it can be go like emergency account. And what else, depending on your need, it will increase of how you will be allocating, creating a new category. Right now these are the ones. Income won't have any category. Tithe will be here, and this will be house. Groceries will be for house. Gym membership will be for personal. Stock investing will be for invest. Yeah, that way you can create. All right, so these are categories, and we do have the date and everything is here. But this is all transactions. We don't want an year back transactions or 6 month back transactions right in front of our eyes, unless we want to have them particularly to analyze. We want our all transactions to go away. Doesn't mean that we're going to delete it. It means we need to have a much more current view, which means I want to see things that are in the present month, because that is the current month going on. I want to see what transactions am I doing, and I want an area where I can enter a new transaction. So which that will lead me to turning this into a page. Yes, now all the transactions are turned into a page. I'm gonna pick a new icon and I'm gonna add that to our all transactions database, because we don't want that to have normal one. Yeah, this one will be nice. Link, submit. But one thing we need to understand is all transactions is the master database. That is where we're going to draw everything that we need. All right, so simply saying all transactions is the master database, everything else will be a view. Like I have said, we want to view the current month expenses and everything. Copy image link, get back here, submit. Is there any trouble with that? Yeah, we got it. So now let me just say the very first thing is we want to have a difference between income and outcome, right? We want to see things that are in the present. The way we would do is a linked view of a database, and that will be all transactions. And how do we do this? We're going to filter by transaction date is so now I need to see all the income transactions. So I have created a new view. So similarly, as our income, we might not have any category, but if you are having multiple sources of income, then you can have it, right? And if I have like instead of paycheck, this is something like YouTube income, and it will be an income. If I got $1,500 that month and it was on June 4th, you see, because we have the sort, it went up here. So now we can create kind of yeah, now we can create views based on that. Simply saying I can create an income transactions view by going here to filter. I'm going to add a filter. The type would be income. That's it. We're going to have only the income transactions. That is a one view if you want to see income transactions. And if you want to see only outcome transactions, sorry, expenses transactions, then you can create a uh, new thing. Similarly, you might want to see them across, but let me just do this for you. We can turn this into a page, and this will be income transactions. What we are creating here is the hierarchical view, or simply saying we are on the abstract level. So let's see what is the right icon for income. Yeah, this one is perfect. Then I'm going to create a new view. And we're going to rename this as yep. Then I'm going to filter with type only expense. Now we have this. I'm going to turn this into page. And this will be the expenses transactions. Great. Now we have all transactions, we have money principals, and we have income transactions and expenses transactions. Simply saying we do have all the type of things that we need. But there is something else we can go ahead and do. Like I said, we need the current month view, right? Whenever we open a budget sheet, we want the present month's data. So for that, what we're going to do here is, let's go to all transactions. We have the date, but this date exists in various places. So what we want to do here is, we want to have the current month separated from there. So what we can do is, we need to do a little modification. Although paycheck is paid for on this date, what we need to do here is, instead of the transaction date, we're going to create a new date. Or for income, what you can do is, instead of just storing the transaction, we can simply give the first month of the date where we're going to spend the money or use the money. So although it is given on May, we're going to use it on June, because in June we're going to be able to use the money. So that is the kind of process workflow we can go here. Or let's see what else we can do. Can we use Notion in a way which will help us to do this? Simply saying, is there a possibility? So let's examine that. we we're gonna spend money in 1 month. Let's say it is June. We're gonna receive incomes in this month and the previous month, which means on the previous month last week. Let me just tell you this. I have created a new view and I have placed the transaction date as a filter. So let me just do it again. That will be easy for you. So like I said, we have all transactions, we have all income transactions, we have all the expenses transactions, right? Later we're going to create a new category view for every transactions for every category view. But right now we're going to create a monthly calendar. Right now, by the time I'm creating this course, it is June 2022, so that's what it's going to be. So I'm going to create a linked database and it will be all transactions. This will be only for income, but we're going to apply filter for transaction date is, wait, not in that way. First, if the type is income, and transaction date is in or after, let's just say, if the date, if we get the payment like a week before June 1st, that will be 25th, then we're going to allocate that into June as well. And now we're going to turn this into a group where is on or before and June 25th. And now where type is expense, we're going to turn it into a group. Now, wait, this will be or, and we're going to add a filter, and transaction date is on or after June 1st, and then we're going to turn it into a group again, on or before June 30. So if we change this to the previous month 16th, it won't be here. Wait, why is it here? It shouldn't actually be here. If type is income and transaction date is on or after May 25th, or transaction date is on or before June 25th. There's gotta be something different. Yeah, now it is disappeared. In a similar way, we have to use it here as well. If we have groceries on June 9th, it is disappeared. Now this is only for June 2022. All right. So now we have created a monthly transactions area that is for income. So here it only should be for income. Type is income. Yeah. Now I want to create another view of this. This will be for expenses. Here type will be expense. Sorry, no income, only expense. Yeah, now we have that. If we want to view things based on category, then we need a category database. It will be from all transactions. And now, wait a minute. We can create a gallery. You can see it has already given each category a different title. So if I hit YouTube income, now we need to give them each thing something. First thing is we need to change this to gallery, category transactions. Filter, category is YouTube. I think we can actually create it in a much easier manner. Yeah, let me just do that. Instead of this, I'm gonna delete it. Here I'm gonna create a new page. And here we're gonna create new projects. Is that how it's going to work? Table view database. It will be a new database. First will be income. No, first will be YouTube. And the next will be height, expenses. And the next will be PYF. Pay yourself first. Emergency. What else is left? Day job. I think that's it for now. Right now, I think that is good enough. And now I'm going to come back here to all transactions and I'm going to change this to type to relation. It will be categories. Yeah. Now for each of these things, we're going to give something. What? The appropriate thing that is needed to give. Paycheck will be for day job. Tithe will be for tithe. House rent will be for expenses. Oh, sorry. I think we did a big mistake. We should change category to relation. There will be categories, add relation. YouTube income will be for YouTube. Paycheck will be for day job. Tithe will be for tithe. House rent will be for expenses. Gym membership will be for expenses for now. Stock investing will be for invest. Groceries will be for expenses. Now we have given them each a project. Let's go back here. Let's go to category view. Let's go to add view, gallery, done. Now we're gonna, let me just change this to full width. Yeah. Now we need to create a new template. And here, linked database view for all transactions. The filter will be applied to category contains category. That's it. So that will be our thing. Click on there, go to here and click on category. Now you should get all the YouTube transactions. There you go. For tithe, we should get tithe transactions. Yeah. For expenses, we need to get. So now let's click on category. We should have the expenses table here. Okay, we got it twice. Let's go to invest. Day job on category. In day job, did we get the table? We probably must have got the table here. Let's finish the emergency and POF as well. Emergency. We haven't added any transactions. POF. Did we? Okay, we have added too many times. Too many times we have added. So this is how it will be very helpful. We now have the category view. Let me just give an icon for this. Let's see what is the better category. This one seems nice. Yeah, that is a nice way. So simply saying we have all the transactions here. We have income, expense, and category views here, and we have the monthly view here, right? So whenever you have anything you have to do, simply saying I can actually duplicate it and filter type, remove this and bring it here. Click rename. All in June. Yeah, these are all the transactions in June. If you want to see only income, you can go here. If you want to see only expenses, you can go here. That is a great way for you to go ahead and start your basic budget sheet, right? You can go ahead and add some summary sheets or summary tables, which can give you good understanding about how to proceed further. So we can actually add something else as well here. Like we have date, amount, but and what we have, why did we buy it, the title here, and we can actually give some payment method, and this could be like card, net banking, PayPal, cash, or mobile payment, something like that. Going ahead, you can add euros, right? That is a great way to start. YouTube income would be for, will be straight into bank. Paycheck will be straight into bank. Tithe will be through, let's say, cash. House rent, cash. Gym membership, let's say PayPal. Stock investing by net banking. Groceries to card. Yeah. If you ever want to see what transactions you have done using card, you can just filter it and use it. This is a great way for you to start your budget sheet. All right, so go ahead and prepare a budget sheet for yourself and start using it. One important thing here is, not one, two important things. The very first thing is, if you want to have great control over your financial life, you need to have these money principles and you have to stick to them. It will bring a great, it will pave a great way. And the number two thing is using the budget sheet. Preparing it is one thing and sticking to it and using it. Sometimes you just want to add a new column, you want to do a new design, but not all of that is going to be useful unless you use it with diligence. That is the one thing I wanted to say. So let's go ahead and get to the next class. Thank you very much, guys.